WICR Political Gridiron with your co-host Patrick McGwire and Bill Maloney. We're here today with Councilman Jared Rice. How are we today?
Everything is good. I'm glad to be here with you guys so we could chat a little bit about what's going on in our state, in our country, in our city.
I know. I'm really excited. I mean, I've never really had a guest
like
on our radio show with me, so I'm glad you're my first one. Take it out today on the Gridiron. But so I mean, kind of the topics we'll be going over today is the recent development of the new housing, the new dormitory on North Avenue with the destruction of the Mirage Diner, and then we're gonna kind of go more on towards
national issues,
and
how the local implications are really a mirror of our national issues.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So with the recent developments, like with the dormitory, we were seeing, I mean, just kind of some informative stuff. We're seeing at least 6 stories of apartment style living for students here at Iona College, and then on the main level we'll have, I think we'll have space for like multiple units that will facilitate like food on campus food. And all that kind of jazz. So I mean, my question to you actually is, how did this really come about? What kind of concerns, questions did Iona bring really to the council? I mean, about having the zoning really.
Yeah. So I think when you look at Iona College, you have to look at its relationship to the city of New Rochelle, and you have to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think that there are so many positives that Iona does have to offer the city of New Rochelle. However, it has to be managed in a way where it coincides with the needs of the community. So what we did a couple years ago, we got together with a committee, and we had 5 representatives from the neighborhoods surrounding Iona College. We had 5 representatives from the college and 2 representatives from the city. I was on that committee, and we really looked at ways to channel Iona's growth. We all know that Iona is a competitive school, and they are looking to further compete with all the other schools that they have. And them being here in New Rochelle, we want to be able to provide them with that competitive advantage and be able to do whatever is in our power. And allowing them to grow means that we need to do so in a way where it not only benefits the college, but it benefits the city. And when you look at some of our economic development plans, you'll see that North Avenue really is a centerpiece of what we were trying to do. So we created new zoning for North Avenue where you can go higher. Previously, it was only 3 stories, but now the new zoning allows you to go up 6 or 7 stories if it's student housing. And Iona has taken advantage of that. I believe that the Mirage Diner owner approached Iona once the zoning came into place. So we're happy with the progress that's being made on North Avenue, and I think that it really is going to benefit the college and North Avenue in the city, and hopefully it could spur some other things going down North Avenue.
I don't know about you, Bill, but I'm pretty excited. I mean, to hear about stuff like this. I mean, I don't know how far Iona wishes to go about. I mean, with more property or anything like that. But I mean, how do you see the future of Iona College's relationship with New Rochelle? I mean, how do you wish the future of us basically interacting? I mean, with the city of New Rochelle.
Well, I do have to give kudos to Dr. Nair. He's new here, and he came in and he really wanted to take an approach where it was going to be a collaborative approach between the college and the city. And I think with our mayor and our city manager and our city council, myself included, we really appreciated that. And I think that there's a level of honesty between the 2 parties, and we really want to work with each other going forward. So we have a lot of changes in New Rochelle, and Iona is one component of that, but it just works well when they're meshing with our larger development goals and our broader plans.
That's awesome. I mean, and I can definitely see how Iona is definitely a center player when it comes to, I mean, basically New Rochelle as a whole. I mean, it's a pretty historic town. I mean, I don't know what would you go about
Councilman, again, it's nice to have you on air, but I was reading an op-ed to the Journal News over the weekend, and a local citizen was expressing a concern for the development of Iona, not just the dormitory, but also Iona moving forward. How it's really going to possibly hamper residential communities and neighborhoods. And is there anything that New Rochelle and Iona College are really doing to help prevent those concerns from residents?
Correct. Yeah, so you could bring it back to this example with the dormitory. Prior to that, there was a proposal to build student housing off of Mayflower Avenue, smack in a residential neighborhood. So I think that really was the impetus for us to really get together and look at alternatives to that. And from what I understand now, that is off the table. you're never going to please everybody. That's one thing in politics and one thing in governing, that you'll never make everybody happy, and to try to do so is pretty insane. But I think that this really was the best solution, where we made a strong attempt to protect neighborhoods. North Avenue is not a residential strip per se, not as much as some of the areas that are abutting it. But I feel that we did a good job, and I'm happy with the work that came out of that committee. I think a lot of the flack that Iona College gets is the fact that it is a non-tax-paying entity. So when you have police services or fire services that are responding to the college, those aren't being paid out of the property taxes that other homeowners have to pay. So I think that's kind of where you get a lot of the friction between Iona and a lot of the residents in New Rochelle.
So you talked about how there was going to be recent development. I mean, there were possibilities of recent development more down on Mayflower. Is that more into the New Rochelle area for our viewers that just aren't really very much clear? I mean, how far deep is this into downtown New Rochelle per se? Is that
so? Mayflower Avenue, that's right off of Dunkin' Donuts. So you go up the hill, and you know the second parking lot.
Okay.
Across from Driscoll Hall.
Yeah, it's right by Holy Family.
Yep, that's where it was proposed to be built.
Okay.
And the people in that neighborhood vociferously opposed a dormitory going right there.
Okay.
So instead, we brought it down to North Avenue, and that seems to be more palatable.
Okay. And what kind of boundaries are we necessarily looking at? I mean, as far as to how far the college can grow. I mean, are we looking at it in a more sense of like how big it can go, or more so like how deep into the neighborhoods are we going to be looking at?
Yeah, so the NA zone, that's the zone. It's called the North Avenue zone. It starts at Eastchester Road, and it goes down to 5th Avenue, New Rochelle. And like I said, the density used to be 3 stories, but now you could go up to 7 stories if you have student housing involved with it. So that's I don't know how long that is. It has to be around a mile or so that they could go. And moving too far, I know the college didn't want to move too far from their central campus, but that seems to be a good area for them to kind of pocket themselves. And I think that historically this area has been a strong Iona area, and we're going to continue to see that. And I think a lot of positive things that Iona does bring is just the beauty. I was walking on a campus coming to the show, and it's really a hidden treasure, that what you have back here that people don't see on a daily basis. And it's really great how they upkeep the property, and the weather's starting to change now. You'll see the flowers and the trees budding. So this is a beautiful school. It's a beautiful part of New Rochelle, and we're just looking to keep it moving.
Well, again, Jared, before you spoke about the possibility of a retail development going along with the dormitory.
Correct.
Could you just expand on that, and also possibly expand on the possibility, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but here at Iona we're talking about possibly having a bridge going over North Avenue, because it gets kind of dangerous on North Avenue, especially at night when you don't have any crossing guards, or on the weekends when students perhaps are less responsible than they should be.
Yeah.
So are you familiar with this? Or
So on the bridge, this is my first time hearing about that. I haven't heard anything about a bridge. And as far as the retail component, the zoning dictates that the ground floor has to be retail. So it's not. I don't know what's going to go in there. I know we spoke about a restaurant or a bookstore or so on and so forth, but retail is going to be on the ground floor, and that's good for the city as well, because now you have that retail, which is going to be paying taxes, which is something that the city looks for, and up above with the student housing that will not be paying taxes. But as it currently stands, we have one story of Mirage Diner paying taxes anyway, and plus you got sales tax revenues as well. That's another source of revenue for the city. Our city is about 50% funded by property taxes, and the other 50 an assortment of other revenues. So as a city, especially coming out of the Great Recession, we're always looking for ways to balance our budget, and we're looking for ways to do so without putting the burden on the property taxpayers per se.
Okay. Well,
now, I think that one great part about the dorm plan is that they're going to move the sidewalk in. And they're going to allow for people to actually eat outside if they actually go along with the restaurant plans. And that, I think, from an aesthetic standpoint, that's beautiful.
Yeah. We're doing that downtown right now.
Yeah.
So I think that one of the main things we want to do is make North Avenue more walkable.
Yeah.
We want to make it more visually acceptable. We want to make it safer. We want more people walking. We want the businesses to be able to do better. I think you'll see a lot of businesses that don't last on North Avenue. The next step that we're going to look towards is seeing what kind of central parking we can have. I think when you look at the businesses, Smokehouse has parking on site, and they do exceptionally well. Some of the other businesses that have to rely on street parking don't do as well, and you see them kind of, there's a turnover as far as them being able to stay open. So parking is key. Parking in the neighborhoods is key. I live on Brookside, which is right next to the school, and parking is an issue for me. I see college kids parking their cars there at times. And
parking it on top of ice mounds. I see all sorts of nice arrangements. You talked about earlier about how businesses seem to have been struggling on North Avenue a little bit, and I know in the past North Avenue used to be quite a strong bar. Like there was a lot of bars on the street, and I mean I'm not too familiar as to how either that seemed to go down, but I mean how is the city of New Rochelle really gone about promoting like entrepreneurialism in New Rochelle and opening up new businesses and going about all of something like this?
Okay, so I'll go back to my days when I was in high school and college, and at that time there were several bars on North Avenue, and one of the side effects of having all these bars, which were successful, was underage drinking, right. And that's a huge problem, and the problems associated with underage drinking. So quite frankly, those bars were shut down, and I think that moving forward, as far as nightlife and entertainment, we're looking to revitalize our downtown New Rochelle, and the goal ultimately is for those who are 21 and older who are looking to have a good time and have some libations. You could head downtown New Rochelle, hopefully take a cab or something. I know, Bill, you're about 18, so you
you're a little older than me, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Learn something new every day. Yeah, and I mean, I've always seen. One of the first things I remember when I applied here at the school, seeing was where the movie theater is and that whole area, and I thought that was kind of like a cool recent construct. I mean, it seemed pretty recent to me at the time.
New Rock, you mean?
Yeah,
okay.
Downtown New Rock, and I remember how I think we had dorming in the what was it, what hotel is that right there?
Marriott.
The Marriott. There we go. I was about to say Hilton.
Don't we have dorms down there?
Well, yeah, we used to.
Yeah,
but then all those guys went down to Rice. So, but I mean, that was something with the school as well. But I was very interested to see about. I mean, like you have two sides of New Rochelle that I mean seem to be doing pretty well. I mean, pretty prosperous. I mean, I know like there's a pretty good strip of just real estate when it comes down to businesses and everything like that. But I'm kind of intrigued to see if like New Rochelle plans to do that up and down North Ave. I mean, plan to make it a very nice commercial street lane. I don't know per se.
Yeah, we are looking to do that. North Avenue is what they call like the spine of New Rochelle. It's our major north-south artery. And with downtown, I think you could characterize downtown as starting at the bridge by Rochelle Place. So I don't know if you know Jolo's. It's
I might have seen it.
Okay. So right about there, that part of North Avenue, that's where you start getting downtown. And we have a proposal with a group called RDRXR, and we just signed a memorandum of understanding with them, actually a master development agreement with them, and they're looking to develop several parcels of city-owned land, namely parking lots, and they're looking to bring in $750 million worth of development over the next 10, 15 years, and also 5 million square feet. So that's enormous, and New Rochelle is looking at White Plains and Stanford and a lot of other communities that really have brought in investment dollars, and I think that our downtown is poised for that. Especially not only Iona, we have Monroe, we have College New Rochelle, so we have everything it takes to have a successful downtown, and hopefully everything can line up and the economy can stay strong for the next couple of years.
I mean, I definitely love just seeing the whole complexity of New Rochelle, just like seeing everything really as a whole, because you really get different sides of New Rochelle just anywhere you walk. I mean, you walk 20 minutes one way, it's a whole different view from walking 20 minutes the other way. And I always kind of marveled at something like that, because really New Rochelle is so huge, and just all of Westchester is even larger. So, I'm always really interested to see, I mean, for me, from an entrepreneurial standpoint, just how really just New Rochelle will blossom. And I think we really will be seeing such an influx of it in the next 20, maybe even 10 years from now, and I'm really excited to see something like that.
Yo, Pat, I think that we should go to a commercial break right now and just head over to commercial, and when we come back, we'll talk about the police state here in New Rochelle and really its national implications.
Yep, absolutely.
Possibly.
Yep.